Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from sunny, hot Vienna. It's Friday afternoon, and I have a great pleasure to welcome Dilek, Süzal, coach and mentor on our new episode for Making It in Austria. So welcome, Dilek, on this warm, hot day. Thank you for joining us and spending half an hour or so with our community.
Hello, Adela. Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing that positivity. So that spirit, and so with yourself and with your background, I really really love it.
Thank
So let's dive in. So I would like to ask you for a short introduction. So what would you like to share with our community and with the world?
My name is Dilek Süzal. I'm originally coming from Turkey and living in Austria since 10 years. We have moved here for the job of my husband, and we have, I think, made it in Austria, probably, or at the edge of making it in Austria. I think I have some relevant stories for your audience. So it's really a big pleasure for me to be here. I have two kids, and I am working as a professional coach at Caritas currently, and I am owning Dileks Coaching and Training. And meanwhile, I'm doing a lot of volunteering work as a mentor and as group coordinators in different groups. And I have accumulated actually different life experiences, different professional experiences as well in the last decade that I am very, very excited to share with your audience.
Thank you so much. So we are happy to have you with us and for you to share your insights and best practices, tips, and so on. So let's, like with all other guests, so I would like to, maybe if you want to share something about your business or your coaching. So what do you do? A little bit, a little bit story about that before we jump into the making it in Austria. And yeah, that's my girl. If you hear her, that's my girl in the background. She just woke up and she's been with
Hello.
her dad. So tell us a little bit about your business, and before we dive in, how was your way to Austria?
Yes, definitely. So I'm working as a professional coach since 2019. My company is grounded in 2019, and since then I am a very, very passionate coach in the field of self-mastery and career coaching, basically. What I am a big advocate for, Adela, is helping and supporting people to bring their best selves and best work to this life. Because we have so much sleeping potential inside of us that needs a little bit triggering to come up. And we have so much to achieve in this limited amount of time that we are guests in this planet Earth, let's say, and we have so much to do if we are willing to do it. So my job, modest job on Earth, I'm a very late bloomer that I have discovered this like in the late professional career of mine, is to support people to achieve the best possible version of themselves, very, very willingly enjoying and in a big fulfillment at the end of the day. So this is what I do as a coach. My client base is very international.
Hmm.
I am doing my coaching sessions mostly in Turkish, in English, and sometimes in German. So I am fluent in these three languages, and also I speak a little bit Italian, which I have forgotten, although I have a C2 certificate. So the more you don't use the language, you forget about it. But mainly, I am a multilingual, multicultural, global citizen that love all the human beings. Doesn't really matter where they come from, apart from the ethnic origins or religion, whatever. My heart is open to helping, supporting every single person that I can.
That sounds amazing, Dylan. Thank you so much for sharing. You mentioned it in your introduction that you moved to Austria 10 years back together with your husband. You have a lovely family here. Tell us a little bit, how was your start here in Austria?
It was an interesting start, I have to say, and there are some things that I would go back and do differently right now. Actually, I have been through some mistakes, and I have been through a couple of mistakes that maybe I would like to share with your audience, maybe some three mistakes that I
Yes.
could share with your audience so that they can find another better shortcuts in their own personal journey and professional development journey. So my husband has found a position here back in Turkey. He used to work in a joint venture, 50% Austrian, 50% Turkish. And in this company, he found a position in the Austrian branch. And then we have transitioned from Ankara to Vienna. When we arrived here, I had my daughter, 2.5 years old, with me. And soon, in a couple of months, I got pregnant with my son. So when you move to another country, you think like, okay, Vienna, for example, in the case of Vienna, it is an amazing city. It's a beautiful country, and you think like your environment is going to change, your culture is going to change, job is going to change, many other things. But in reality, when you come to live in another culture and environment, you don't know where to do your grocery shopping. You don't know where to buy which milk kind,
Yeah.
which milk brand you should be buying, right? That or which cleaning material. You don't know many things. Or in your culture, for example, you are very loud in restaurants, and many places are very children friendly. And in some other culture, it might be a little bit different, and it might be the case that people should be a little bit more, like silent and respecting others. So there are lots of cultural differences that I have noticed as well. So at the beginning, even though I thought not many things are going to change because I'm a global citizen, I have visited many countries before, it wasn't the case.
So it's a different story when you come as a tourist
Yeah.
and when you come here and decide to live here. And yeah, especially if you're coming with the kids, with the family. So that's definitely
Mm-hmm.
different
Exactly.
story. Yep.
Exactly. So mistake number one, don't give the titles to be changed, like the environment, job, and culture, but dig a little bit deeper and maybe contact some locals before you arrive to the new culture or to the new city. And do not try to find your way out, making all those tiny little mistakes that would give you some frustration. But other than that, be open-minded for those detailed life, all the everyday life changes that you might be witnessing all throughout this process. So this was maybe mistake number one, solution number one that I
Yep.
might share with your audience.
Perfect. And you mentioned locals, you mentioned, being part of the culture. So where do people find locals? So how did you meet locals here in Austria?
And it's a very good question. First of all, I have met some locals through some friends. We had some friends here that has been to the university here, finished university, and started working. And they have their own Turkish community, international Austrian
Mhm.
community. Our first introduction to those networks was via friends. And after you start working, you
Mhm.
develop a network, a local network in your company, in your business. And the more you do business cooperations with other people or other companies, you enlarge this network in a professional manner as well. So this is how I did in the Austrian local network. But I was a member also of the international networks like Vienna Family
Mhm.
Networking. It was mentioned in your show before,
Yep.
I know, professional women's networking in groups like that, or International Coaching Federation Austria chapter. This is where I was contacted with the international community that I got to know in years.
Perfect. Now you're full-time entrepreneurs, if I understood it right,
From September on, yes.
from September on.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, and you had many transitions along the way in the last couple of years. Tell us a little bit about those differences in context of living here and working here.
Yes, sure. In the last decade, many things have shifted and changed in my life, Adela, starting from the language that I
Mm.
speak, going to the city that I live, from the number of children that I have, to the new family structure that we developed here in Austria. Uh, from the citizenship, I had the Turkish citizenship, now I have the Austrian citizenship, to the dreams that I have currently. Many things has shifted actually.
Mhm.
One of which is very, very important, of which is my career path.
Mhm.
I have a master's degree in architecture, and I have worked as an architect and interior architect for almost 20 years. Working with people was fantastic. But in years, I came to a new understanding and I have transitioned to the field of coaching, which I am very, very passionate about currently.
Mm. So
Yeah.
you started your own business. So I have
Mhm.
many moms, if I may say, career moms on my show. And as you mentioned, Vienna Family Network is mentioned many times here. So it's a terrific community for people. So I'm there as well as a fresh mom. It's very important to have this kind of support and surround yourself with people that are in the similar situation like yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
Super important. And as you said, now we're coming a little bit to talk about networking as well. So
Mhm. Mhm.
tell us a little bit of your tips. So what are the secret tips of Dilek, how to connect with people, how to contact new people, how to build your network in a new environment with locals and with internationals as well.
Yeah, sure. As I said, VFN was my family away from my family when I first landed here in Vienna because I had a 2.5-year-old daughter in my hand and a boy growing in my belly. And I was, for the first time in my life, not working as a full-time employee. And it was a totally different lifestyle for me. And through a friend of mine, I have discovered VFN and I become a member, as you know, this, January,
Yes.
February group. And
Yes.
then I started meeting with those people um, at at the very beginning of like right after my son was born. I didn't contact them in the pregnancy, but it is still possible. Met with them like all the 2-month-old babies, sitting in cafes and breastfeeding together and sharing all those mommy like, oh my God, what am I going to do? She's not sleeping, he's not sleeping, kind of like interior feelings. So it was a very supportive beginning for me through VFN. But years have passed and the age groups have kind of like dissolved. But for example, our district group, 19th district VFN group, has always been a part of my life since 8 years. And this evening, we're going to meet with my
Wow.
ladies, finally, and we're going to have a dinner together. So it is not directly and only related with the kids and their, like everyday lives and breastfeeding, but it is also a very supportive community
Yeah.
with the other people, even though the kids are not here with us in those meetings. So
Mm.
this was number one. And the second membership that I have is the Professional Women's Network Vienna, which I volunteer as a mentor.
Mhm.
It is a very brilliant international and intellectual community that you could get to know other women and men now currently that can support you in your professional journey, in your personal development journey through all those webinars and seminars and networking events. And
Mm.
volunteering is also a good way of enlarging your network. I'm volunteering in BFN for the Turkish community group as a mentor in PWN. And I have also been a member of the International Coaching Federation Austria chapter, which gives you also a lot of networking event opportunities with webinars and seminars and all those connect and learn opportunities. So these three platforms were mainly my networking, professional and personal networking platforms in the last couple of years. And there are also like Facebook groups, like you have mentioned also Women of Vienna International, Women in Vienna, and our Turkish Facebook group, Turkish group Facebook group. So all those social media or in like presence, one-to-one relationships, these are the groups that I have been in.
Yeah, as you said, we when we moms meet, we are as well. We have had business before, or we had career. We have career, so it's as you said, it's not just talking about the now what's on the burning side, like breastfeeding, or I know how's the kid feeling, but as well you have other side of yourself, and it's good to be surrounded. It's important to find a supportive group in your different chapters or situations of life. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it's good to go and be surrounded by entrepreneurs. And if you need a tip on, being a new mom, then definitely try to find another, group as well. For that, so it's just a life in life. So just the philosophy, to try
Exactly.
to find the right doors, to knock on the right doors, and not just being spreading your energy elsewhere.
Exactly. And the moment you feel like you're not alone, somebody has been through this before, and you have somebody to ask your all of your weird questions, be it
Yes.
personally or professionally, it doesn't really matter. You feel confident and you feel, like, okay, somebody has my back.
Yeah.
I'm not here alone. Because when you land in another country and city,
Yes.
the first feeling that comes to you is loneliness.
Mm.
Even though we don't want to admit it,
Yes.
up to a certain point, you don't have your family here, your close friends, and deep inside you feel lonely. But when you're supported with this beautiful network of people that are also like open-heartedly approaching to you, this loneliness is like dissolving away. So this was the best advantage that I got from
Mm.
all those networks.
I believe we all experienced that in a year and a half, this loneliness, being apart, as you said, from your family, from friends, from everyone.
Mhm.
Another question follow up that I wanted to ask you: you started your business basically during the Corona time. So how
Yeah.
did you make that decision? How did that come to you? Was it the natural, or did you struggle with a couple of things? Tell us a little bit.
Wow, very good question. Actually, I used to work as an interior architect at the time that I have decided to ground my company, and it was right before Corona hit. So I
Hmm.
have grounded my company in 2019 September, and then voila, in the beginning of 2020, everything has shifted to a different dimension. I have to tell you that I have a couple of learnings from this process, Adela, because coaching and mentoring is a very interpersonal process. You need to look in the eye of the person that you're working with, and you need to read the words. You need to read the words
Mm.
behind the words. You need to read the body language. You need to read the tone of the voice. And you need to be very open in your perception to working with those people. And I thought it would only be possible in this interpersonal one to one, face to face relationships. And I was totally frustrated because, okay, like now, how can I do this? I cannot meet with any people. So I'm totally blocked. But it wasn't the case really. But I had a certain advantage. My first coaching education from Ericsson International, the Art and Science of Coaching, was an online program. And I didn't know back then, but I think the universe has my back because I had lots and lots of online coaching experience throughout that program.
Mhm.
My best coaching buddy, for example, was in India, and the mentor that has tested me in my accreditation program was in Canada in that exam. So I had all those experiences, and I told myself, okay, Dilek, everything is about to change in everybody else's life,
Yeah.
but you have a bracelet on your arm, and this is the online coaching option that you have learned. We have sometimes closed the camera in the course of the education
Mhm.
and learned how to read the words between the lines with the
Mhm.
tone of that person's voice. So I said, like, okay, you need to convert these skills,
Mhm.
transferable skills we talk about, right? You need to convert these skills to the online platform. What do you need? You
Mhm.
need a Zoom membership, pro membership. What do you need? You need a Calendly account.
Yeah.
What else do you need? You need this and that. I have made a list. I
Mhm.
have contacted the people that are using them in the best way
Mhm.
that they can.
Mhm.
I have got some tips and tricks, some mentoring and coaching, if you will. And then I have converted everything to online. I have converted all my seminars to webinars, all
Okay.
my one-on-one coaching sessions to online coaching sessions, all my group work to online group coaching sessions, and it functioned fantastically because I was ready for that transition
Mm.
and I was willing for that transition. And it turned out to be amazing and very practical. Click of a finger, you're together with your coachee. Click of a finger, you're back in your kitchen cooking for your kids. So this has its advantages as well.
I enjoyed this. Thank you, Dilek. So I was
Sure.
I tuned in definitely, and I just was listening how you did all of these things, and it's great to hear. It's great to hear that what you did and how good or successful your year was. I think we all need that, and as you said, you have been prepared before. And honestly, I still believe that we can transmit these emotions also online. Now you and I, so we have never met face to face, but I can have a feeling about you and you about me. And I believe that this Corona a little bit opened opened our views a little bit,
Mhm, mhm,
that I don't have to be everywhere just to get the best out of it. And it in my area, it a little bit, as I said, democratized the world of events and conferences. Because
mhm,
back then, for instance, for a specific conference to be there, you have to be an executive, you have to be a senior, you have to be a CEO of the company, because it's only available, there's only budget for those certain people. And
mhm.
now I can, out of comfort of my home, I can join to any conference in the world or pay a little price for it and get the knowledge, experiences, and meet the people all over the world, and I can be wherever I want, and I can be in any position. I don't have to be that's in the corporate world, that certain position to gain the knowledge. Now it's open. And this is what I
Exactly.
love.
Exactly. And this corporation, this Doctors Without Borders, it's like
Yeah.
the professionals without borders
Yeah.
now. I
Cool.
have some clients living in different places in Europe, one in Romania, one in Germany, one in Denmark, and I am working with people back in Turkey with the click of a finger. So we
Yeah.
need to see the bright side of things, because
Yes.
when things are, when your dreams are going down the drain, you
Yeah.
need to come up with new dreams and make it real, right? I mean, this is how this thing works. Otherwise,
Yeah. Otherwise, you can see that the world is against you, or the situations, or everything is coming against you. Thank you, dear, for sharing. I really loved it, and I really love this what you said, professionals without the borders. That's really really cool. You should that should be your headline
patent.
or patent. Yeah, 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 like, or your hashtag, coach without the borders, or coach available anytime, everywhere. It's really really cool. And I love what all this openness and flexibility that we gained through it, because for me it would be impossible also to do these things with a small kid. I was in the park, we just came home, and I was prepared to record an episode with you, and after that we go back to the park and you're going for dinner with your friends and we are done. So within an hour we don't have to go somewhere and prepare all of that. So I think I'm really happy to embrace all these, good things that came along, and for everyone, it's, as you said, you need to be prepared, and you need to be willing to do some work. As you said, I made the list. I need Zoom. I need Calendly link. I need this. I need that, and in order to do my work. And this is, the preparation and work you need to put in. That's how things happen.
Exactly, exactly.
Before we move to what you read at the moment, is there anything else that you would like to emphasize on the challenges when coming here, or
Yeah,
understanding, or your German language learning
yeah.
experience, maybe? Yeah.
For example, yeah, something comes up to my mind. It might be classified as the second mistake that I have done, because, as I told you before, I speak a couple of languages, and I always thought that I am very good with languages. I
Mhm.
mean, some people are kind of like talented. I
Yeah.
was feeling okay. And I thought, like, okay, I will get some DVDs. Like 10 years ago, it was DVDs. This
Yeah.
is how dinosaur I am. So I started to learn German through DVDs when I was back in Ankara. And then I said, okay, I'm going to go through this like easily, like easy cheesy. I started to learn how to say 24, like 24, okay, I'm good to go. And then when you come here and when you land in a lifestyle that you were not familiar before, like as I said, with a 2.5-year-old girl, and you're being pregnant and going still to the language course while being
Yeah.
pregnant in the middle of summer and stuff like that, things become a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So in different circumstances, your super skills might not be working in the way that you have expected them to.
Mm.
So when you are in this transition of moving abroad, you need to think that, okay, these are the things that I do good and I am skillful at. This is
Mhm.
perfect. But you need to give yourself a little bit more time and atmosphere for that. So if you are counting on 3 months for learning German and finding a job, you need to double down on it. Like
Mm.
give yourself 4.5 or six
Yeah.
months because it might take longer than you think, even though you are skillful at it in your current circumstance,
Mm. Mm.
your comfort zone. When you're out of that comfort zone, things are shifting altogether. So this is the mistake number two that I would say. And the learning number two is give yourself more flexibility during those learning processes. And I might say the same thing for the social life.
Mm.
Since I am 2 years old, I guess, like since I have communicated with people, I have always been a social person. I love working with people. I love being in networking events. I love people and I serve them. This is my profession now. And I thought, okay, I'm a super social person. I will find trillions of friends and I will have international friends. Yay! And then you come here, nothing happens, crickets. What has happened? I mean, why can't I find the people that are welcoming me? What am I doing wrong? I mean, you start to take things personally, which shouldn't be the case. In every culture, the time that you make that social connection and bonding
Mm.
differs. In Turkey, for example, maybe in Bosnia it's the same. We meet with someone and you hug them and
Yes.
kiss them and you say hi, and you don't leave them until the point comes that you need to leave them, really, literally. So here in Austria, for example, people took their time to get to know you at first.
Mm.
This trust comes eventually if you also like trust the process and be patient. But it did take time for my local friends to accept me as a dude, really, this bonding until this bonding happens. So mistake number three was like imagining that you're going to be socializing immediately.
Mm.
And learning number three is that every culture might have different styles to socialize, and you need
Mm.
to understand that. Here, you experience it probably. You need to arrange everything in advance in your
Yes.
personal life as well. Meeting with friends is also a scheduling issue here, whereas in Turkey it wasn't the case. So there are different things, and never take nothing personally. This is just the way it is. Learn, be prepared, and live through it. This is what I would say.
Thank you, Dilek. Thank you so much. I was always a person who likes to prepare and plan, so to plan
Mhm,
things a little bit
mhm.
ahead. And now I accepted it fully, as you said, scheduling things. I schedule everything, and now we are now planning to go back to Bosnia, and I'm scheduling things as well. Okay, I want to meet this person, I want to meet
Yeah,
that, I would like to see this and that, and I see lots of benefits in it. Not just being spontaneous all the way, but as well embracing some of the planning. As possible, just like have a feeling where you're going and which people, what do you want to do
yeah,
with your time. So it has benefits. It's not extreme, but it's good to have a plan. It's good to have some plans in life. Even if they go, as you said, you plan 3 months, in the end it was six months, or we all planned 2020 differently. Then Corona came, and it's like, okay, so how do I work around? And that's
exactly.
where you can help. And I'm a big fan of coaches and mentors. I had them throughout all my career, and I still have them, and I'm here because I embrace that I need the support from and this guidance from outside. I realized that very quickly in my life, and
Mhm,
I'm using that as much as possible, being a mentor myself, and as well having mentors in my life, because
mhm.
you cannot go that far fast on your own. You need people around yourself. You need to surround yourself with people who can give you, like yourself, like you give a couple of tips and then I don't need to repeat them, hopefully, or find
Exactly, exactly.
shortcuts.
And you know the story, you have made a bold decision and moved here, right? Years
Yeah.
ago. So these bold decisions need some bold movements, of course, at the end of the day to make that transition. But in order for this transition to be smoother,
Yeah.
I would recommend to your audience get either professional mentorship, like
Yeah.
paid mentorship, or a volunteering mentorship before you land in another country and culture, because
Mm.
there are lots of people that are willing to help you with the
Yeah.
tips and tricks of everyday life that you wouldn't find in any kind of website or any kind of tourist guide.
Yeah.
So there's a different truth to the story. So talking through locals or talking through international people that are living here, speaking your own language, mother tongue, would be a great thing at the end of the day, in my humble
Absolutely.
opinion.
Absolutely. We don't have to try everything ourselves
Yeah,
and
yeah,
jump into the cold waters. Thank you,
absolutely.
Dilek, so much. Before we wrap up for today, I would like to ask you what you are reading at the moment and what would you like to recommend to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. I am reading the series. I don't know if you have heard about it. John Perkins. He has the series. Fuck it. So even as rebel as it sounds, it has super important and valuable content. It's a series, and I'm reading the second book, Therapy, Bucket Therapy, and it's a great book. I can recommend it to everybody. And do what you love was the first book that I am a big advocate for. Also, like do what you love in life. This is why I become a career coach, actually. And what I can also say that I am doing this virtual entrepreneurship program of PWN currently, and we have some material to go through. And apart from that, I am a student in Mind Valley program. And this is an online education program, and it offers different courses. And I'm super passionate about lifelong learning. I'm currently doing a course there on the sleep mastery.
Wow.
And as strange as it sounds, I totally believe that in a perfectly healthy body, in a perfectly healthy mind functions, and then you are then perfectly connected to your soul and reaching up to your true potential. So that's why I'm going through the physical needs of the body. I'm very, very passionate about learning about all those. So the sleep mastery course I'm doing, and also I'm listening to Superhumans at Work. It's a professional case-based podcast series. I can totally recommend it, also from Mind Valley. So yeah, every single day I'm learning something new, and I'm amazed by how much there is else to learn.
Definitely, and how much available it is nowadays. Because I can remember back then, okay, when I was studying, in Bosnia, you had this one or two books. You had to wait for them, you had to order them, or what. It wasn't available. And in the last 10 years, and especially in the last couple of years, with the podcasting, with everything being online and available, as you said, there's so many opportunities to gain, advices and learnings from the top expert that you could usually, like you said, Mind Volley and like master classes and all these, you
Yeah.
couldn't get there. Or they have their podcast, for instance, Simon Sinek and all these great people that we read from, they have their own podcast, and you can hear them on a weekly basis and you can learn from them. So there's so much, as you said, so much out there that you just
Yeah,
need to
there's a
grab.
tremendous amount of content out there. And what I find fascinating, for example, with podcasts or shows like yours, is that, for example, when you read a book that was written 50 years ago, you still
Yeah,
get something, and some things never change in life. But when you are listening to those people, for example, Simon Sinek, I'm also listening to him,
yeah,
speaking about different topics week by week, month
yeah,
by month. And
yeah,
it's like when he records something last week, and when you're listening to it, it's kind of like he is in flesh and bone there. I
yeah.
mean, living in this world somewhere, and I'm sharing the same time with him. So
Yes.
there's so much in common then. Then you can also have a different perspective. Okay, I'm living this life, but there's something else out there which is currently happening.
Mm.
So it's fascinating. This is what amazes me also the most with podcasting and YouTube channels and valuable interviews like yours. So thank you
Perfect.
for what you're doing.
Thank you, Dilek, for sharing your time. Valuable time is from your side as well. And to all our viewers, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing, liking, subscribing. And of course, if you have any guests that you would like to hear on our podcast, to see, please let me know. Send me a LinkedIn message or drop a comment on this video. I'm really happy and always looking for amazing people like yourself to join this and, grow our community. We are planning 100 interviews this year. So there's a lot of, coming along your way. So thank you so much, and talk to you soon with a new episode.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure for me to be here. I would love to be connected with your audience. They can find me in LinkedIn, in Instagram, in Facebook. I'm almost everywhere. I would be happy to connect with them. So thank you so much for
Th-
the invitation and for having me, Adela.
Thank you. Thank you so much.